Chapter 1. The Swamp. I never considered that I was homeless. After all, I had a smartphone and purchased a 29-foot travel trailer to live in, on credit, of course, and it was going on the 20 acres that I was potentially going to rent. I also owned 4 horses, 2 goats, 1 cat now, and just recently one deceased, the mother, one of my income-producing outlets, making babies which I would advertise and sell for a little extra money. Her name was Katie, but she's gone now. She was such a sweet little thing. So technically I wasn't homeless, just financially challenged with all the animals I was looking after. But I preferred that, I suppose, to not having them. They made life not easier, but a lot happier. It was a lifestyle choice. But I didn't have running water or hydro, so some folks would consider me homeless, living in a travel trailer. This was my tiny home out in a rural township in Middle-earth, America, called Transylvania, or something that sounded similar. I ended up going there to investigate the place about the first week of August. The landlord was a little eccentric, but basically harmless. He told me my horses would make short work of the overgrown 4-foot-high grass, and I would find a spring or two somewhere. But I would have to dig for them. I couldn't see even a drop of water anywhere. It had been a very dry summer, but I guess there had been enough rain early in the spring to make the grass grow this tall. He said the good news was that they wouldn't freeze too much in winter, and it gets extremely cold in these parts, like maybe 15 degrees below 0 Fahrenheit. The land bordered on a swamp, but at this point in time, I could barely tell where the land ended and the swamp began, except for a few cattails. So this fact was good to know. There was a small dilapidated horse barn with a lot of missing planks, standing at the edge of the gravel road. It was at least 100 years old, but the metal roof and wooden beams were still good. There were old page-wire fences and an old hanging-off-the-hinges gate. The myriads of prickly ash trees with at least 4 apple trees and evergreens mixed in covered the borders. They were densely laden with leaves when I did arrive, so I didn't see what was beyond them until fall. He interrupted my thoughts by saying he would send his handyman, Tommy, around to find the spring and help dig it. I thanked him and looked around again. Actually, it looked kind of like a disaster, but I did see some potential. I was always up for a challenge, and the rent was right, but I had to find a spring before I could bring in my animals. Apparently there was another one up the road a ways that was good for humans to drink, so that was a bonus too. A day or so later, I attempted to dig in what looked like the riverbed. I managed to find about 3 places where, after 6 inches of dirt, mud, and slime, I reached some water. When Tommy showed up, however, he easily dug up a spring close to higher ground. Being 6 feet tall and at least 200 pounds, he easily went down 2 feet with a shovel, and we saw the water start to bubble and fill up the hole. Yay, now I was able to bring in my horses and goats. So, the next thing I did was advertise for someone with patience to truck the horses. Maybe 10 or 15 miles from a pasture where I was paying an exorbitant amount of money monthly, I thought, just for outside board. Patience, because my one black gelding, Harley, was stubborn. I know someone would say just whip him in literally, but that was not my way. He wasn't afraid. Oh no, just plain stubborn. The other 3 mares went in easily, even the youngest, who had never been in a trailer. except to go to the pasture, but not him. So 3 hours later he was in, but my big gray mare decided after all the commotion and chasing that she wasn't going quietly. So I finally said to the lady in exasperation, "Let's just leave and come back for her later." What an ordeal, and now 2 trips. Good thing it wasn't far to go. When we returned, she was lying down in the corral and probably thought she'd been abandoned, I'm sure. This time when she saw us, she got right up, walked in, and we were soon on our way. I felt so bad. Halters had been torn, there'd been rearing, chasing through the field, falling down. That is, I fell as my big mare reared, and I was backing up out of her way. What else could go wrong? She was a nice lady, though, and on top of it all, I found out later she had broken the rear window in her truck by jackknifing her long stock trailer, just trying to get in the driveway. I really felt bad then. She said it wasn't my fault, but I still felt bad. Trials and tribulations. Nothing ever works out the way you plan or hope it will, especially with horses. I also found out she had a daughter, son-in-law, and grandkids living on the same road as mine. This was pretty well the reason she answered my ad. And she had horses of her own, of course. So when she would come to visit her grandkids, she would stop by to say hello. And her boarder, who came with her, brought a selection of new halters the first time that he would sell real cheap. So I bought 4 of them. As for me, I was kind of a loner with no kids of my own and divorced. I preferred the solitary life and just my animal kids. I guess some people would think I was kind of strange too, but that was because I liked peace and quiet and preferred horses and goats to most people. That sentiment of peace and quiet was not to be, though. Soon the neighbors started to harass me before I even met them. I didn't really want to anyway. By calling the town to inform them that someone had moved a travel trailer onto an acreage with horses and goats and was actually living in it. A bylaw clerk and animal control officer came to see me soon after. This was about the end of September, and they told me it was illegal for someone to live in a trailer this close to the boundaries of the town. They informed me that I had 2 weeks to find another place to live. But my animals could stay, of course. How generous of them. I tried to protest. I didn't think I could find something with low enough rent. So then the clerk said he would extend the time to a month. The generosity was overwhelming. So I agreed to try, and with that they left. I did try. I posted ads around town, in the library, the grocery store, and the bank, and filled out an application for housing geared to income, for which I discovered there was a waiting list of 4 to 7 years. I might need a retirement home by that time. I didn't get one phone call about a room to rent in the month that followed, or for the next 5 months for that matter. When the animal control person returned right on schedule, she said, "I see you're still here." I replied sarcastically, "Are you going to throw me out on the road then?" I tried to find something but didn't hear from anyone about a room, and the housing place put me on a 4 to 7 year waiting list. So what do you suggest?